are you?
I'm Baltodox, the gaming dangus. Hello everyone and welcome to Baltodox, the gaming dangus's first video review. I'm going to assume you stumbled upon this review because the Stalin Subway is on sale for like $1 or something. A ruble, who knows? Anyway, here's my totally professional review. I mean, opinion. So, looking at the Steam page for the Stalin Subway, we get this generic overview. The Stalin Subway is a first-person shooter-style game where the events take place in post-war Moscow. The game allows to plunge into the depressing atmosphere of Stalin's period and to play as a Soviet officer. So already that doesn't sound too great. Sounds like some bad Russian to English translation right there. So we scroll down here to the about this game, and what do we got? We got the description. Immerse yourself in the dark atmosphere of Moscow during the 1950s. A covert plot against the Stalin. The General Secretary of the Soviet Communist Party threatens to take the lives of innocent people. Against his will, KGB officer Gleb Severbrov must prevent the attack and rescue the lives of innocent people. You lead Gleb through a tempest of events where you'll visit prominent sites in Moscow, including the trains of a secret underground tunnel, and use authentic weaponry, including the anti-tank rifle PTRS-41, RPG-3 grenades, Molotov cocktails, and flamethrowers. Let's see here. Also, we see the developer is Orion Games. So, fortunately on Steam, when you click on Orion Games, it just takes you directly to the publisher, Buka Entertainment. So, if we open up the emails and go to Orion Games homepage, which is of course in Russian, we see that they have developed a number of games, one of which is Metro 2, more commonly known in the US as the Stalin Subway. So scrolling through these news stories on Orion's website, we run into this story here, and we learn that initially this game was developed by a different company called G5 Software, who apparently made a game called Red Shark, which I've never heard of, and published under the Buka Entertainment Company. However, the project was handed over to the studio Orion, and they completed the game in a very short period of time on its own engine even. And we know from the Steam page that the game was released in the US in October of 2006. So that's pretty much it for the history. There's not a lot to talk about other than, of course, there is a sequel that I may review in the future, but let's move on to a different topic. So, right out of the box, this game is not going to be playable for most people. Wait, out of the box, it's 2020, not 1999, you dumbass. So if we head over to the community hub, this is where you're going to find what you need to get this game running in 2020. The first thing you're going to need is the Stalin resolution patch, which can be found here. Credits to this guy, DCX demo. It's great. You can get the game to run in 1920 by 1080. So the first thing you want to do is download the patch 1.2, which can be found here in the first review. So you go ahead and click on that, and that'll take you to a external website which will allow you to download the Metro 2 1.2 file right away. Go ahead and drag and drop that into your game folder. So these next two patches are completely optional. They're both fan improvement patches. The first one is the Stalin Subway One-Man Army fan patch, which can be found here by Buchachos. So this one, it adds a bunch more performance fixes and bug fixes, but the most important thing is it actually switches the English voice acting for Russian voice acting, which I discovered halfway through the game is much better. And the last thing I did was I downloaded and used parts of the improved mod by Zik Shadow. I took the sound effects for the weapons from his mod and the improved crosshair from his mod. So, as the name of the game would imply, the story takes place in the Moscow metro system in 1952. We're quickly introduced to our main character, Gleb Severberov, forgive me, and he is a officer, lieutenant in the KGB. We are also quickly introduced to Gleb's father, Fedorovich, who is a scientist who is working on a secret project in a secret lab underneath Moscow. Also, here's a bit of audio with the English voice acting for you to see how great it is and why eventually I switched over to Russian.
Sure. Well, I won't argue with you, scary Chekist.
Father, we're not Chekists. We're officers of the KGB.
Well, I'm going to search for the library. Bye.
Bye.
The game starts with you, Gleb, guarding a boring post located in a secret laboratory, only realize that your fellow KGB goons are starting to assault fellow Russian scientists and rebels. You quickly discover that there are officers high up in the organization that are plotting against the great Stalin. Even his right-hand man is involved, Lavrenti Pavlovich. For the rest of the game, Pavlovich is going to be sending various goons after you to try and kill you or stop you or impede your progress through the various subway trains. And it's just generally going to be him and a couple of cutscenes with Stalin. He also has a lackey beneath him called General Zhukev, not Zhukov, who is the main antagonist, I guess you could say, who is responsible for arresting your father and throwing him in jail, which is one of your objectives, is you have to go and rescue your father from a secret prison underneath the Kremlin. Towards the end of the game, though, you eventually run into another secret officer, KGB or MGB, I'm not sure what the acronym is, whose name is Natalie Mihailovich, and she is a secret agent who is also apparently trying to stop the conspirators from killing Stalin. And you even get to play as her, which is kind of weird. Also, after helping her out at one point, it seems that you guys shag in a railway car, but nothing is shown in the cutscene. It just abruptly cuts to the next level. It's a little bit odd. I said Natalie, huh? It's Natalia. Anyway, Natalia watches you from her train car as she awkwardly rides by, double-crossing you in the process because it turns out she's actually working with the conspirators. And then it awkwardly cuts to you being knocked out on the ground and sent to prison underneath the Kremlin in a secret base somewhere. So eventually you end up saving your father from prison and having to confront General Zhukov, who manages to grab hold of your father and is awkwardly backing up as you're approaching him with a gun pointed at you, when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Natalie pops out. So Natalie pops out and shoots General Zhukov in the back of the head, only to reveal that she has double-crossed you, or even triple-crossed you at this point. And that's when a character that was only slightly mentioned in the beginning as being a love interest for Gleb, Lena Lepina, miraculously arrives and shoots Natalie in the head, thus saving the day. However, at this point, they still don't have the proper controls or whatever their father was working on to stop the bomb from being blown up, which is going to kill Stalin. So they have to go down into the subways, and they somehow magically find the bomb. They rig it up, and they talk about how they're far enough underground that it's not going to be an issue, like everybody will be fine. And they just send the rail car away. I guess it's on a timer of some sort. They all jump out, and that's the end. Alright, so we're finally on to the most important part, which is the gameplay. The first gun you start out with is the Makarov pistol. It's pretty good, it's a decent pistol, but things get exciting almost immediately because you pick up a second Makarov, and then you've got dual Makarov pistols! Pow, pow, pow. And they're also really good too. After the Makarovs come the rifle section of the weapon selection, and you get a SKS, which is pretty good. It has an alt fire button, which is the right mouse button. All it does is awkwardly zoom in, and I think it has a 10 round clip. It's pretty decent, and then you basically just get a copy paste, same mechanics basically gun, which is the SVT 38, and it's also pretty good, but sometimes has less ammo for some reason. The game also gives you an automatic weapon fairly quickly, which is the PPSH At least that's what we call it here in the US. It appears to be called the Shipigan 41. I don't know the reason behind that, but it's a pretty good atomic weapon. It just sprays a lot, like a lot.
Hi, I'm Derek Bum. Say goodbye to daily stains and dirty surfaces with new kitchen gun.
And then we have the best weapon in the game, in my opinion. They call it the Stecken, or the APS Stecken. I'm not really sure what it is called in real life, but it has a single fire mode and a burst shot mode. And that burst shot mode just fucking kills people like crazy. It just rips them to shreds. It's ridiculous. Then of course we've got the good old AK-47, which is a very decent assault rifle in this game. It's a little bit more accurate, or it's a lot more accurate than the PPSH, and it has about a 30 round clip. It just feels good to shoot, and it also has a single shot fire mode, but I seem to only be able to use it with the Natalia, so I'm not really sure what's up with that. The last assault rifle you get, if you can call it assault rifle, is a Sten, or at least it looks like a Sten. I think they call it the Sten Mark II. It's pretty decent as well. I think it has probably the best accuracy, and it also has a single fire shot mode with the right mouse button. And it drops from these like secret agent guys. So for keyboard number 5, you get like your special weapons, and in there you've got your Degtyarev DPM, which is like the machine gun of the game. It's pretty good, but there's not really that much ammo, and you lose it halfway through the game. So you've also got the anti-tank rifle, the PTSR 41, and it's really cool. It blows up people, but it takes forever to reload, and it generally don't really have that many opportunities to use it. But this clip also shows one of the problems, which is you move really slow, and you have to like jump everywhere to move anywhere quickly. So grenades are good. They're on keyboard button number 6. They're good at blowing people up. That's pretty much all you have to say about that. So let's talk about armor, health, and ammo pickups. This is kind of silly. There'll just randomly be big stacks of boxes, like a Half-Life style. You just walk up to them with your knife, you break them up, and there's a bunch of ammo and bandages usually lying all over the place. And that's about it for health and ammo pickups. So the only thing that I don't really understand still in the game is how armor pickups work. It seems like sometimes when you're at full health, enemies will just randomly drop armor, and it'll say in the bottom right corner there that you picked up armor. Other times it'll just be sitting somewhere and you can pick it up, even though you can't really see it in this clip, but it's there. Alright, so let's talk enemy types. They come in a few different flavors, nothing too crazy. You've got your generic soldier type, who usually wears like a cap or whatever, and he's equipped with rifles and submachine guns, all the good stuff. And then you've got your generic officer, who almost always has a pistol. And then you have your generic armored soldier, and generic armored officer. They're a little bit more difficult to kill, have a couple more hit points, nothing too crazy. After that, you have different types of officers. You have some gray officers who must be like slightly more difficult, but not really. And you've got blue officers, and last but not least, you have dogs, followed by some gangsters who just run at you, really scary like. And last but not least, you have like some special forces types that look like they're wearing green suits, and they have the Sten guns. There's nothing really unique about them. So in conclusion, we'll just wrap it up with audio and graphics. The audio's pretty good. I mean, I used a mod to fix the gun sounds. The normal gun sounds kind of suck. The music's not the best. There's a couple of tracks that are okay. Like this main menu music is pretty decent actually. I kind of like it. And graphically, I mean, the game came out in 2005 in Russia and 2006 in the US. It's not equivalent to its peers, but it's also not terrible. It's just the way it looks, I guess. And to sum it all up, I mean, it's a fun, janky little game. I mean, I don't know what else to say. There's some parts that are frustrating, but otherwise it's not too bad. That's pretty much it. thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll be reviewing the sequel, The Red Veil, soon enough.